seem to always play well against the Twins, especially at Target Field. The Yankees are now 11-3 in that ballpark since it opened. That's the best record of any American League team. And the numbers kind of told the story. They hit much better than they had in the previous games. They had games where they scored 10, 9, 7 runs. And even the game they didn't score, they won 3-2. CC Sabathia picked up his 200th win.
Well, the Yankees need to get revenge against the Orioles, who swept them in Baltimore last week. Now let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. It's Miguel Gonzalez going for the Orioles, 6-3, 3.77. Ivan Nova gets a start for Hiroki Kuroda tonight, out with the hip pointer, but he's okay. Nova 2-2 with that ERA 4.63. And Paul, since he got called up, he looks like he's a more effective pitcher.
He's been getting ahead a little bit, and if you'll watch these highlights, he has a wicked curveball, but you can't get guys to swing at this unless you're ahead in the count. He needs to throw that hard sinker, get ahead, get away from the slider, and use that strikeout pitch, that curveball right there.
Now, one of the guys he really has to worry about is the guy they call Crush Davis. It's really Chris Davis, but this year it's been about crushing. Why the turnaround? Why has he become a Triple Crown contender? Paul O'Neill will try to explain when we return right here on Yes. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. These are cold, hard facts indeed. 327 average for Chris Davis, second in the American League. First in home runs, second in ribbies, first in slugging. And the only one who's even close to that kind of year, the Tigers' Miguel Cabrera. Well, welcome back to the booth, everybody. That's Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay, and Ken Singleton will rejoin us in just a moment. What is the deal with Davis? Oh, he's a decent player, but now out of his mind.
Well, everybody has a year where everything seems to click, and you saw glimpses of it last year, but if you'll watch the way he's hitting, he lets the ball get real deep now. He doesn't get out and try to hook the ball, and when you're as strong as he is, the hanging breaky ball, that's going to right field anyway, but when you're as strong as he is, you can use all parts of the field without trying to pull the ball and still hit home runs. Very dangerous. He's been a monster in the middle of the lineup.
And he's batting fifth tonight, so the Yankees will try to contain him. They couldn't last weekend in Baltimore. When we get back, we'll have the lineups. First pitch, baseball. Yankees and the Orioles, live from Yankee Stadium, right here on Yes. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Johnny Walker, please drink responsibly. And by United Business First from JFK to LA and San Francisco. Well, that sun, it's doing the job today. It is hot and humid here in New York City, but we've got a baseball game between the Yankees and the Orioles. So let's take a look at the Orioles starting lineup as put together by manager Buck Showalter. Nate McLeod in left field leads off, batting second, playing third base, 20-year-old Manny Machado. Nick Markakis in right field will bat third. Cleaning up center fielder Adam Jones. Chris Davis at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching, Matt Wieters. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, bats seventh. The number 8 hitter is the second baseman, Ryan Flaherty. And Brian Roberts will DH, and he's going to bat ninth.
Ivan Nova going to start for the Yankees tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. He made his last appearance in relief in Baltimore on June the 29th. And as you can see, his record on the year, 2-2, 4.63, 43 hits in 35 innings. Here's the New York Yankees pitcher scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's trying to be a hero. Of course, Hiroki Kuroda out with a hip pointer. I don't think he's going to miss too much time, but it is Nova who's taking his place tonight in rotation. And deep is a 4-letter word. Nova's only given up 2 home runs in 35 innings this year. Last year, the home run ball used to bug him. This year, he's doing okay. And leadoff problems, he's only retired 51% of the leadoff hitters in innings. That's the worst on the Yankee staff.
All right, Nova's ready, and so is McLeod. Let's do it here in New York. The pitch is outside, and we are underway. The 0-1. I guess they called that first pitch a strike. Wow.
No, they didn't.
No, they changed. Okay. The board was wrong, so it is 2-0.
I was going to say tough league.
Gary Darling knew I was in the house. Michael used to be my favorite. He called strikes if it rolled up there with strike one.
What did you do to him?
I don't know. I know what he did to me. He kicked me out of a few games.
The 2-1. 2-2.
Say, when you go through this scouting report as a pitcher and a catcher, and you look up and down this Oriole lineup, and it's strong. I mean, the numbers are strong throughout. Good strikeout there.
Yeah, McLeod is one of those hitters you want to keep off base because he's second in the league in stolen bases. The Orioles do run, and McLeod is the main guy. 24 steals this year, but only caught 4 times.
Buck Showalter, manager of the Orioles.
Yeah, Michael Buck's done with the Orioles what he's done just about everywhere else. Build an organization into a contending team.
Yankees, Diamondbacks, Rangers, and now the Orioles. The 0-1 to Machado. Line to left field. Wells is there. He'll put it right for the second out. Let's check out the Yankee defense behind Ivan Nova, since we've seen Wells. We'll start with him. He's in left. Gardner's in center. Ichiro's in right. No seismic change. Almonte has played a lot, so he's just having a day off. Adams, Cruz, Cano, and Overbay left to right in the infield. Stewart behind the plate. Nova on the mound. Orioles are 48-38. The Yankees are 46-39. And here's Nick Markakis. Orioles lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox, and Markakis certainly was not at fault. He was 6 for 10 in that series.
Yeah, Adam Dunn walked them off yesterday. He escorted them off. Long home run in the bottom of the 9th.
That one is laced into left center field. On the run is Gardner. Let the plate on a hop. Cuts the ball off in the gap and holds Markakis to a single.
Markakis kind of reminds me of the way Paul O'Neill used to hit, because he hits the ball very well to the opposite gap and to the opposite field. He waits, he lets the ball travel. The ball is kind of moving away from him, sinking fastball. He goes right with it. You think back to how many times you've seen Paul O'Neill get this very same hit.
Not enough.
Well,
you could always want more. You know, if you're a left-handed hitter and you're facing a sinker ball pitcher, that has to be your approach. I mean, you'll get enough hanging breaking balls and kind of the sinker that doesn't sink, but if you don't cover that baseball on the outside part of the plate and use left center, you're going to have problems.
Here's Jones. Waves at a breaking ball. 0-1.
You see Nova had a, I mean, Machado hit that ball on the nose, and Marquez all of a sudden, you know, I better switch things up here. Start Adam Jones off with a curveball.
You saw Jones's average at 291, his on-base percentage at 350, and this guy almost refuses to walk. He had one yesterday.
Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Now, it's hot, 87 degrees, 56% humidity. The wind is 11 miles per hour, and there is a heat advisory.
Yeah, Jones won 183 plate appearances before he drew a walk.
That's hard to do.
No, yeah, it is.
You know?
Even that, you're facing the best control pitchers ever.
You know, and the reason he's a good hitter. He's got power. So, you know, there are times where, you know, pitchers aren't going to give in to him. He's not going to give in to them either. He's just going to hack.
Well, I think one thing that one reason he's getting so many strikes because Davis is hitting so well behind him, but people don't want to walk him.
There's a whole pile of numbers on the back of that guy on deck.
Swing and a miss. Jones down on strikes. He gets tagged out by Stewart. No runs to hit. One man left. It's the Orioles nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Alexis, Brett Gardner had yesterday off. Back in the lineup playing center field leading off. Batting second, Ichiro Suzuki playing right. The number 3 hitter is the second baseman Robinson Cano. Travis Hafner, the DH, will clean up. Batting fifth playing left field Vernon Wells. Lyle Overbase at first base. He's going to bat 6. Batting 7th, getting his first Yankee Stadium start. Shortstop Luis Cruz. Chris Stewart will catch. He'll bat 8th. And batting 9th and playing third base, David Adams.
Recently turned 29-year-old. Well, that's not Joe Girardi. He's older than 29. He's talking to Stevie Donahue. He's number 28. He's talking to Stevie Donahue. There he is. Miguel Gonzalez gets the start. He's 2-1 in his career against the Yankees. Those are his numbers on the year. And here's our Tri-Honda pitchers scouting report. Wait till after the first pitch here. And you saw a delayed start. The Orioles actually pushed him back 2 days. He was supposed to start Wednesday in Chicago, but because he's pitched so well here in the Bronx, in 4 starts, his ERA is 2.36. He said, we'll save him for the Yankees. And the last name there was Tom Phoebus. There have been only 2 pitchers in Orioles history, rookie pitchers, that have beaten the Yankees twice in the same year at Yankee Stadium. Phoebus did it in 1967, and Gonzalez did it last year.
It's like something Michael would know, you know?
Well,
just off the top of your head.
Line down the right field line. It's a base hit. It'll go up against the wall. Marquez gets the ball in, and Gardner with a leadoff double.
It's amazing sometimes when you get that day off, just how it recharges you. You come back in a home ballpark, you see kind of a hanging breaking ball there. Gardner stays in and just hammers it to right field. Little to no chance when he hits the ball off the wall that you're going to have a play with his speed.
First of all, if you don't field it cleanly, he might be at third base. So you want to make sure you play the ball cleanly. We're going to look at this on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Beautiful swing, follow through, and then the speed comes into play.
Here's Ichiro. Shows bunt takes inside. He came within a home run of the cycle yesterday. And then when asked after the game if he was going for a home run, he said, "Look at my arms. I can't hit home runs." He said maybe an inside the Parker.
Yeah, I asked him after the game about that too. I said, "I was rooting for you to hit a home run." He says, "That's too big."
Second try at a bunt. On the count 1-1.
Here's a triple. Now they hung a breaking ball, 2 men on, and he just ripped it into the gap. And the center fielder Hicks was playing towards left center field. So that just opened the gates for Ichiro to go all the way to third.
In his last 21 games, he's heated up. He has a modest 4-game hitting streak. He's been one of the Yankees' consistent hitters. Insisting on bunting, and that one's fouled off as well. I think that if I manage the team, if my leadoff guy led off with a double in the first inning, and my second guy bunted him, I'd probably find him. I mean, just hit the ball on the right side, maybe get a hit and have a big inning. If you're going to bunt right now, you're limiting yourself probably to 1 run this inning.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 1 shot with his speed as a base hit, but you know, obviously it's very easy to hook a ball as a lefty. It's also very easy to strike out when you put yourself in a hole by missing a couple bunts, but you know, that's a strange at bat for him.
Well, I think one reason each is thinking about the bunt. The Yankees are 32-7 when they score first, and if he could get Gardner to third base, you got Cano coming up, who's probably the hottest hitter in the world. So maybe he's just trying to build 1 run and give you know, Nova a little bit of a cushion. That's what he would tell you through his interpreter, by the way.
Right, and I can understand that thinking, except that you have Ivan Nova on the mound. You don't have Ron Guidry on the mound.
Yeah.
So I don't know if 1 run's going to hold up. So I'd rather have a big inning, but playing for 1 and then he strikes out, as Paul said, you get yourself in an 0-2 hole.
Well, he's usually a better bunter than that.
Yep. Cano takes low.
These are the at-bats that Robbie's really going to have to be patient and work, because, I mean, he's a hot hitter. I mean, he had a tremendous series up in Minnesota, and to come home with bases, you know, a base open, men in scoring position, pitchers are not going to give in to him. And the only way he really makes outs is when he starts swinging at their pitches.
There you go. And, you know, right now, this should tell you if you're hitting. I don't think he wants anything to do with me. 2 off-speed pitches in the dirt, and you don't want to really help him out. You're willing to take the walk to let the Hafner do the job, try and drive in some runs. Robbie Cano had more walks last month than he's ever had in any month. He could have had even more if he wasn't chasing pitches out of the zone. And it was interesting in Minnesota, Ron Gardenhire, the manager, said, "We're not going to let Robbie Cano beat us." Hit 3 home runs and drove in a bunch of runs. Had 5 extra base hits in the 4 games.
And that was weird, Kenny. He stated that at the beginning of the series, and then he pitched to him.
Yep, and I don't know what they were doing. Obviously, whatever they were throwing him, it wasn't good enough.
You saw that last pitch, and Robbie Cano was on the same page, Kay. I mean, he never took the bat off his shoulder. Taken all the way.
You know what? He might lay one in here. I'm giving him the green light.
There's a strike.
Again, I mean, 3-0, went for that perfect pitch down and away. Not a pitch as a hitter in a 3-0 count that you just want to, you know, kind of roll over to the second baseman.
You know, one of the keys to getting pitches to hit in this situation is to have the guy behind you almost as hot as you are.
That one is looped to left field. McLeod is there. He'll make the play for the second out.
tell you what, if you look what just happened, he got a good pitch to hit. It just, you know, I think it was a fastball. It was a mistake by Gonzalez. I don't think he wanted to give him this good of a pitch. See, that ball ended up in a good area for Robbie to hit. But, you know, kind of in your mind, is he going to throw it to me or is he not? You're just not as quick.
I think to give you a prime example of what protection means for a hitter. If you go back to 1961 when Roger Maris hit 61 home runs, he had Mickey Mantle batting behind him. Roger Maris never got one intentional walk all season long. Not one. Because the guy behind him hit 54 home runs.
Here's Travis Hafner, still a runner at second base now, 2 outs. There's a strike. Hafner hit his last 2 games against the Twins. On the road trip, 6 for 21. 0-2. Let's check out the Orioles defense. McLeod, Jones, and Markakis left to right in the outfield. Infield, Machado, Hardy, Flaherty, and Davis. Third to first. Weeders behind the plate. Gonzalez is on the mound. The Orioles have a .991 fielding percentage, which is the best in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they've made the fewest errors in the league. The Yankees have made the second fewest. So 2 excellent fielding teams.
One and 2.
Now Gonzalez uses his splitter as a changeup. That's the off-speed pitch. Not only is it off-speed, it actually moves down out of the strike zone. He's been tough on the Yankees here and tough on left-handed batters.
Yeah, I mean, he pitches off his fastball. He'll pinpoint his fastball to get in these strikeout counts and then go to that split finger. When you see that one in the dirt, chances are he's going to go back to it a couple more times to try to get that strikeout.
Foul back. Yankees baseball available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Infinity.
Yesterday, Hafner had 3 hits to the left side of second base. And the first one was kind of a line drive down the left field line, and there was like nobody over there.
1-2.
See, when he gets in that pull mode, I mean, that's the pitch right there that he wants. That ball, you know, inner half, something he can get the barrel out on and try to drive out of here. Gonzalez is sneaky enough up and in to get that one in on him. A lot going on in that man's mind, Michael, huh? All the time.
You know it. One-two. Driven down the right field line. It is a foul ball. Not much room down there, but he found foul territory.
Kenny, remember that when you hit one right on the nose, you think it's a double and an RBI, and an umpire, as they always do, tell you what you don't want to hear. This ball's hooking. Foul.
And you notice as Hafner walks back to home plate, Weeders went out to talk to Gonzalez on the mound. You want to keep it away from there. That's just like the old stadium. There wasn't much room.
No. Toughest play to play. That ball down in the corner. You have to lose sight. You hit that dirt, and you know you don't have much more room.
The 1-2. Fouled off. Started his career with the Yankees. Managed Paul O'Neill.
Seems like 100 years ago, man.
Long time. About 20 years ago. One, two. Grounded to short right field. Flaherty is there. Over to Davis, and that'll do it. So the leadoff double is wasted. We go to the second. Coming up, one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Chris Davis starts off the second. In baseball right now, Chris Davis, he's a decent player, but now he's taking it to another level. And if it wasn't for Mr. Cabrera in Detroit, you'd be talking about this guy for a triple crown. Look at the numbers. Not even at the All-Star break yet. 32 homers and 83 ribbies. So he'll lead off the second inning against Nova. And there's a strike. Well, we heard from Paul on the open. Kenny, why? I mean, is there a simple reason why he's taking off like this?
No, well, he's making better contact. He's a better hitter. You saw his on-base percentage up over 40%. You really have to be very careful with him. Anything, I think we mentioned in Baltimore, he's a good low ball hitter. And this is what he's done against the Yankees this year.
So basically, I didn't give you enough. You just went over my head right there.
No, you gave me a lot. I wanted to get it. I need an enhancement.
Flat out tell me, no, it stunk. I needed a little more.
They play him to pull.
Except for the outfield, which is weird. Well, outfield straight up.
Because he's got power to all fields. He can reach any fence.
And he gets plunked. So Chris Davis gets hit to start off the second inning. Time for tonight's injury report, which he might not make because he wasn't hit that hard, but is brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. Jeter, we find out, rehab game tomorrow, AAA, Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Alex, rehab game with Tampa, was rained out today. He's trying to escape the rain, he said. And Eduardo Nunez, rehab game tonight at AA Trenton. So the big news today was Derek Jeter starting his rehab assignment. Now we bring in our very own Meredith Morakovitz, and you know, Joe Girardi didn't want to sound too excited in the pregame, but I could sense he was pretty excited about the captain maybe coming back.
Without a doubt, and if you look at the left side of the infield as a whole, it could be dramatically different in a couple of weeks. Now, both General Manager Brian Cashman and Joe Girardi not putting a timetable on exactly when Jeter will be back, saying, hey, when he's ready, he's ready. But the fact that he's going to play 5 innings tomorrow, that tells you a lot, that maybe he's a little bit further along than people had originally anticipated. So he starts to start that rehab clock tomorrow, and from there, they're kind of just going to take it day by day.
You know, it's interesting. I talked to Brian Cashman, Meredith, and I said, why is he starting at AAA? As Wieters hits one deep to left field. Wells back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. And it's off the top of the wall into the seats for a home run. A 2-run home run the other way for Wieters. And the Orioles lead 2-0.
I'll tell you what, Kenny, we talked about it earlier when, you break your heart when you just pull one foul. And I tell you hold your breath the whole time here. This ball actually goes off the top of the wall. It ends up being a home run.
Well, that's what the Orioles do, and Wieters has broken an 0 for 10 with this home run. He, too, has good power. And gets one out over the plate, gets good extension, and rides it a long way to left field. You see the effort by Vernon Wells. Maybe about a half a foot short. That ball hits the wall into the seats. And the Baltimore Orioles now have 118 home runs on the year. And Nova's only given up his third of the season.
Don't think Nova thought that was out. Here's J.J. Hardy. Here's a strike. Anyway, what Brian said, Meredith, was he's had so many more sim at bats than anybody else, simulated at bats. He said so he's at about 40 or 50, so he's at an advanced state, and that's why they can start him at AAA.
And he has been doing a lot there, and he's also been running the bases. Brian Cashman said for about the past week he's been running the bases at 100%, something that people did not think he was doing coming into this. So it'll be interesting to see if he's a guy that could potentially make it back before the All-Star break. Joe Girardi didn't rule it out, but again, he's very careful not to put a time on how many games he thinks he needs or how many at-bats he thinks he needs. It's just one of those things where they're going to continue to monitor it day by day. And I think the biggest thing is playing in the field and going back-to-back, making sure after he plays 2 in a row that he doesn't feel anything in that ankle.
And it's not the sort of thing where you could ask the player, because as Girardi said, Derek wanted to be here yesterday, so you can't exactly ask Derek, are you ready? You've got to judge it by what you see. That one is grounded up the middle. Right there is Cruz, and he will get Hardy for the first out. Now Alex Rodriguez goes from Charleston to Tampa because they weighed where the weather was, and I guess they didn't get good weather reporting because this game gets rained out. That sets him back a little bit.
It does set him back because he had a little bit of an off day yesterday, just kind of worked out on his own. Prior to that, he had back-to-back days where he played in Charleston, played 3 innings in the field, got 2 at-bats each of those, but now they're going to have to decide, do they keep him in Tampa? I'm sure they'll look at the weather again, or do you move him to Trenton? What's the next step for Alex Rodriguez? But they're going to continue to up that innings in the field play, and they're going to continue to monitor him. So he continues to make his way back. It looks as though Jeter's a little bit further ahead than him right now, and originally with him starting first, you thought Alex would be the first guy back.
Flaherty with a fly ball to center field. Gardner is there for the second out. Now you wonder, Alex was supposed to be off on Sunday, play Friday and Saturday. I would assume that they'd have him play Saturday and Sunday then, but he'd have to get another off day after that.
You would think, but they haven't really released a schedule for Alex Rodriguez yet. I think it's all based on how he feels. It's all on how the hip is, what he thinks he can do. They don't want to push him too fast, too soon, and play him too many innings in the field and have him suffer a setback. So they're going to be extremely careful with him, especially considering it's the second time he's had a hip issue, something that's very difficult to come back from.
All right, we also got the sense in talking to Girardi, Meredith, that Nunez could be here before the All-Star break.
And he's playing in Trenton today. He's 1 for 1 so far. It's his 4th time that he's in a rehab game. He played 2 in Charleston. Now this is his 2nd in Trenton. And if you look at his numbers overall, 6 for 14, 2 runs scored, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, and doesn't feel anything in the oblique. That's the biggest thing.
Ryan Roberts, his drive gets run down by Gardner for the final out. Meredith, we will hear from you later on and in the post-game show as well. Matt Wieters goes the other way, off the top of the wall. A 2-run home run as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Toyota Prius is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees, excluding Chris Davis, who is the most dangerous hitter in the Orioles lineup, and why? Matt Cardo said Manny Machado. He's a young hitter with the ability to hit to all fields. Great gap power. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going.
I would kind of go with that. He's only got 38 doubles.
He's a doubles machine, and in that ballpark, as he gets older, a lot of those doubles are going to become home runs.
I was talking to Brett Gardner about Camden Yards. He says a lot of the balls he hits the gaps and are triples, said are only doubles there because the outfielders get to the ball a lot quicker.
And a 365 left center gap. I mean, that's as short as you'll see in Major League Baseball.
Some people don't think it's that far.
That one's popped up off the bat of Wells. Clouth makes the play. Well, I was talking to Showalter about this. I want to see if you guys would agree. He said there's one fair pitcher's park in the American League East. Which one do you think he picked?
I don't think he said Rogers Center.
No, he said that's ridiculous.
Well, Tampa, is that fair? You can't see the ball, so is that fair?
He said that as a pitcher, that's the fairest. He said because there's places that the ball could be well struck and not go out for a cheap home run. He said right field here, left center field in Baltimore, left field at Fenway, and all of Rogers Center. He said a pitcher has no place to go. So he thought that Tampa Bay was the fairest.
Oh, well, that's why you got to have some thunder to play in this division.
He said because the artificial turf in Tampa is higher. He said the dirt is slow. He said so you don't get robbed there if you're a pitcher.
Toronto gets through.
Right, yeah, it gets through. Fly ball left field. Just foul. One, 2-1.
Once again, that off-speed pitch that really befuddles the left-handed hitters. Left-handed batters are only hitting 224. And that's because he can heat you up just enough with the fastball in and then give you that little splitter away.
That's the thing, and it's off the fastball, which he has really, really good control of both sides of the plate with. And that split finger has the same arm speed, and the ball just isn't there yet.
Yeah, he missed with that when Wieters wanted it inside. They wanted to try and jam him after the splitter away, and then he just couldn't throw where he wanted it to. The pitchers could throw the ball where they wanted to every pitch. There'd be virtually no hitting whatsoever.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much fun to walk up there, right? That's why I never understood yes hitters, because, you know, all right, I'm going to go up and look for a slider. If he throws a good slider, I don't care if you're looking for it or not, you're not going to hit it. So my philosophy was look out over the plate. You're hitting mistakes anyway, right? Look for a fastball out over the plate and try to adjust to it.
Try and get ahead on the count. They're more apt to make a mistake.
Overbay grounds, one foul.
I'm trying not to give too many secrets out because Michael and I got a big stickball game coming up here soon, and he's pitching.
He's pitching to you?
He's pitching to me, absolutely.
Now, do you have to... You're pitching to him, too, right?
No.
What do you mean, no? There's only a top to every inning?
Yeah.
There's only one hitter in this game?
There's no purpose to that.
There's only
Why? I got to throw underhand now. I got no wing.
Here's a 3-2. And a walk for Overbay.
Let me call somebody. Put some money on this.
So a one-out walk, and here's Luis Cruz.
Are we going to have a camera crew there for this?
I hope so, and I told her that everything's up the middle. I'm coming right at you. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Yes's first pay-per-view event. Yeah.
Can I do play-by-play? Look out!
You see the way Gonzalez pitches. He's not a guy that is going to throw the ball by you. He makes his pitches, and if he gets in deep counts, I mean, you can have good at bats. When he stays ahead, it's tougher to hit.
There's Cruz, his first at bat at Yankee Stadium. Had a good day yesterday, 2 for 4.
Way out in front of that one, pops it up. Machado near the stands, and he makes the play.
Machado, what doesn't he do, Kenny? I mean, he's so young. I think he turns 22 this month.
21.
21.
He's barely legal. And he'll make this catch. Takes it away from a fan. Now, if you're Cruz, in yesterday's game, Parmalee fell into the stands and made a catch on him. And today, Machado reaches about 2 rows back, takes one away from that fan, and Cruz is out again. It's a tough league. Don't hitting balls pop them up in foul territory.
Chris Stewart takes the strike. You all know by now that Cervelli suffered a setback with a stress reaction in his elbow. So they told him to shut it down for 2 weeks and hope for the best. So it's Stewart and Romine. And Stewart's done a nice job, but Romine has really almost been an automatic out at the plate. So Stewart's playing a lot more than they probably want him to. A couple of other injury notes that Meredith wanted to pass along. Hiroki Kuroda was supposed to start today. Threw a bullpen and is fine. Had a hip pointer issue. That's why he was skipped over. I guess a hip flexor, they're calling it. Michael Pineda is going to have his final start tomorrow at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and the Yankees then have to make a decision, either call him up or send him down to the minor leagues. And Granderson is still swinging a pipe underwater.
Pipe. That's new rehab. You swing a pipe underwater.
That was a smoke a pipe.
I mean, some of these scouting reports, I mean, we've talked about, we get dry swings, wet swings. Now we got wet pipes. We got all kinds of stuff working in this rehab session.
The 1-2. Grounded to Machado. He'll go the short way, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're going to the third. 2-0 O's. Walter, in depth. We got the Pepsi team scouting report on the Orioles.
In depth, and I just changed it, by the way.
Did
Up
you?
to date. Yeah, Homer happy. The O's have hit 118 now, not 117 with Weeder's home run. The most in Major League Baseball. The funny thing is the pitchers have allowed 117 this season, which is the most in Major League Baseball. Swapping arms, they traded for Scott Feldman from the Cubs. They gave up a couple pitchers, including Pedro Strop. And great glove work. Buck loves this stat. .991 field percentage, the best in all of baseball. Got to catch the ball, Kenny, if you expect to win big games.
Yeah, they do have a good fielding team. Gold Glovers behind the plate at shortstop and at center field.
Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 O's. Now, if they continue to field at a .991 percentage, Kenny, that'll be the best percentage of any Oriole team when you consider the great players the Orioles have defensively. Paul Blair, Brooks Robinson, Mark Belanger, Ken Singleton.
I never got a Gold Glove. Those guys got plenty of them. Did
But
you
you had
mention
the big
Brooks?
boppers, too. You had Boot Powell over there.
Yeah. McLeod has won a Gold Glove. He won one with Pittsburgh back in 2008.
Swings and misses, strikes out for the second time. One thing that we should warn you, though, fielding percentage does not always tell you how great a defensive team you are. You might have terrible range and have a great fielding percentage and not get to a lot of balls, but that's the stat that they're going by. It's the highest stat this organization's ever had.
Yeah, well, if you look around the field, they have pretty good range. And another thing you have to remember about this team, it's a fairly young team. All of their best players are in their 20s. And so that kind of tells you if they're willing to pay them, they're going to be around for a while, including this guy.
Well, he had 38 doubles on July 1st. And that's the second most in Major League history since 1921. Only Edgar Martinez had more. He had 39. There's a ground ball in the hole, backhanded by Cruz, the long throw. That's a nice play by Luis Cruz to get Machado.
I'll tell you what, he not only made a good play, but he got rid of the ball quick. When you're going to your right as a shortstop, I mean, that time clock's going off. You know you don't have much time. And just look how quick he got this out and on its way to first base. That's where this play is made.
Yeah, beautiful play. Looked like a quarterback with the defensive end coming on him, and it got rid of it just in time. Took the hit, and it's a first down. Nice play by Cruz.
How's this for a stat? Cruz is the 5th shortstop to start for the Yankees. The Yankees have also had 5 starting third basemen. They've had 6 people play shortstop because Cano took over in the middle of a game once. And they've had 6 third basemen because Vernon Wells took over in the middle of a game. So if they get Jeter and A-Rod back, that would have been their 8th shortstop and third baseman. Nice play by Cruz as he takes a hit away from Markakis. So Luis Cruz flashing the leather and an 8-pitch 1-2-3 inning for Ivan Nova as the O's go down in order. Goes to the glove side, snares it, and then makes a true throw to Overbay as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. you could watch live Yes Network Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Time Warner Cable. Get a full season of live Yankee games on the go for just $29.99. And if you're a Time Warner Cable customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Here's David Adams. And there's a strike. Adams 4 for 18 on the Yankees road trip. Lincoln scoreboard shows the Orioles up 2-0. Yankees got swept in Baltimore and then swept the Twins, so they were 4-3 on the 7-game trip. High fly ball to center field. Jones is there for the first out.
I'll tell you what, you talk about being swept by the Baltimore Orioles, and that's something that you don't want to get in a habit of losing to a team in your own division. When you're playing guys as many times as you do in the American League East, you've got to feel comfortable. And, you know, when you get swept and then you come here, you bring back home, and all of a sudden you're down 2-0 again, you don't want to get in a habit of losing to teams in the American League East.
Yeah, last year the Yankees and the Orioles split 9-9, and then the Yankees, they won in the playoffs by 1 game, 3 out of 5.
That's what they've done against the American League East. They really got fat against the Blue Jays. 8-1. Certainly caught them at the right time. Here's Gardner, and there's a strike.
You know, it is. You don't want to put too much emphasis. Obviously, it's early July, but you know you've got a 10-game homestand here. Then you're leading into the All-Star break. It's important to play well here. You come out of that break. You play Boston, you play Texas. You know you've got some tough series coming up, and you come home. You got to make up some ground. You're kind of at that number where you know you don't want to get too far back. You need to cut into it. Joe Girardi knows it. Been there before as a manager and a player.
It seemed like the Twins came up on the schedule at just the right time, and the Yankees, for some reason, have had a mastery over Minnesota, even when the Twins are good. And right now, the Twins are kind of rebuilding, turning things over. But in the playoffs, Kenny, they've knocked them out of the playoffs all those years. They just beat them all the time.
4 times they knocked them out in the first round. And as Paul was saying about catching up, you don't want to be too far back. And I remember what Darrell Weaver used to say to us when we got back a little bit. He would say, cut off a game a week. You know, you're not going to get it all back in 1 week. Very rarely does that happen.
Gardner chases a pitch up and in as he strikes out.
Well, pitchers learn from the past. He hung a breaking ball to Brett Gardner, and you'll see he got him up and in with the fastball here. Pitchers don't forget. If you hammer one early in the game, you seldom get it back the second time. Like this. See that, Michael? Can't be happy about striking out.
Wow.
You got to teach that bat a lesson. Make it know that you expect more.
It's interesting the way he.
That one's driven to right field off the bat of Ichiro. Going back, Markakis on the track at the wall. He makes the play. The ballpark just held Ichiro as Markakis used up all the real estate to make the play with his back up against the wall. We go to the 4th, 2-0 O's. Turkey Hill Dairy has been the official ice cream of the Yankees. Now, in honor of the team, the dairy has 2 Yankees-inspired ice cream flavors. You have the Bronx Bombers Sundae, premium chocolate ice cream with chocolate cookie swirl and chocolate-covered crunchies. And then what you're looking at right now is the Pinstripe Brownie Blast, premium vanilla ice cream with brownie batter swirl and brownie pieces. So we thank Turkey Hill for bringing some to the booth on this very hot night.
All right, Michael, you're on your own.
You know, so much for the little helmet with a little ice cream. You get a whole bucket now up here. And you notice good. Michael's is, this is Michael's.
Right.
Looks like a trophy. He's already eaten that up.
I haven't touched it.
You haven't touched it?
No, it's just, it's hot out. Now I'll eat it.
I'm going to let you go with that one. Oh, what
nice play by Cano. Takes a hit away from Jones. It's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for free help today. What former Yankee won the 1966 World Series as the Baltimore Orioles manager? I know this one.
I do too.
I don't think you do, Paul.
I'm thinking it was too easy for you guys. I don't know why. Well, Kenny has some history in Baltimore.
I didn't play in 1966.
No, but I'm sure you heard it when you were there.
What?
Across the street you did. That one is knocked down by Overbay. Cano over to Nova. Got him! Retiring Chris Davis. That's your typical 3-4-1.
You see that a lot. And I'll tell you one thing. Robbie Cano has made 2 tremendous plays here. For 2 outs, you could have 2 men on. Chris Davis hits the ball hard, comes off, and Cano just good instincts to fire it over. Nova did a good job by continuing over to get to first base.
Oh, good coordination there. Put the right foot out, left out. It's like he was doing some sort of dance, a hokey pokey. Nice play.
Here's Wieters. He drives it to left again, but this time it stays in the park as Wells puts it away. A 1-2-3 inning on just 4 pitches. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 2-0 O's. The answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz: what former Yankee won the 1966 World Series as the Orioles manager? I believe the answer is Hank Bauer.
That's who it is.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't know that.
The manager after Hank Bauer was Earl Weaver.
So a nice 4-pitch 1-2-3 inning by Novak. He was helped out by this man, Robinson Cano, with 2 nice plays in the field. Cano with a fly ball to left in the first inning. He leads off here in the 4th.
Cano had a 6-game hitting streak broken yesterday, but he extended his RBI streak to 5 straight games. He had a first inning sacrifice fly. It's the 10th RBI streak or 5 games or more in his career. That's when you get on a roll, start driving in those runs. Cha-ching.
The 0-1.
Interestingly enough, you know, I don't look at Cano as a dead pull hitter, but the Orioles are shifted when he's up here.
We've seen him hit so many ground balls just over third.
I'll tell you, as much as he can handle the outside pitch, I would almost guess as a hitter that, you know, I would almost start to look in that they're going to pitch me that way, you know, because he's not a dead pull hitter. When he's at his best, he's all over the place.
He hit home runs in Minnesota to left field, center field, and right field.
Center field was a bomb.
Oh man, that was 420 if it was an inch.
Two-one. Line drive caught by Davis. 1 away.
Well, again, if you're going to play a shift, you can get that first baseman over towards the line because you've got more room over there. And I'll tell you what, this ball's hit like a bullet. Davis standing right there. The last inning, Robbie, you stole a hit from me. Well, how do you like that?
Showalter told the story today about Davis. Davis had a subpar year defensively last year, and he was always a pretty decent first baseman in the Rangers system. And at the beginning of spring training, Showalter pulled him aside and said, every day, we're going to go on a backfield and work. He said, now you have my trust. He said, I know you can play first base. You have the coaching staff's trust. He said, but we have to work you to the point where you have J.J. Hardy's trust and Machado's trust. And if you throw a ball that's a little wide in the dirt, then you're going to be able to pick it. And Showalter said, as good a year as he's having offensively, he's having that kind of year defensively as well.
Now, one thing about last year, they had to use Chris Davis as the DH and in the outfield because Mark Reynolds was so bad at third that they had to move him over to first base. You know, Reynolds could catch the ball, but he couldn't throw it to first. So they put him over there at first base. That meant Davis had no position to play. He couldn't play first base. So they used him in the outfield when Markakis was out with a broken thumb.
That one is drilled to right, but it hooked foul.
That's a couple of them that Hafner's hit maybe 10 feet to the wrong side of the foul line.
Last time I was here in the series, he hit a lot of balls like that. Good pitches to hit where he's just coming around the baseball a little bit, hitting them hard, but you get that hook spin and you just pull them foul.
You know, one of the best hitters I've ever seen at keeping that ball fair was Barry Bonds. I don't know how he did it. Just kept it fair down the right field line and into the seats.
You ever hear hold his bat?
No.
One of his bat,
no.
Literally, it was only 32 or 33 inches, which is small this day and age. Most guys use 34, 35, and he actually choked up a little bit. Didn't have much, but it just a little hand on a big barrel, and he was able to keep that ball. He went straight, kind of opened up, and kept that ball from getting that side spin where it would hook. Guy knows a lot about hitting, a lot about the drills and the mechanics of helping these guys out day after day. Every single person that goes in there works on different things.
You know, I think one key for every team, if you get 10 hits in a game as a team, you got a chance to win. Yankees had 13 yesterday. They only had 4 and still won the day before because Sabathia pitched well. They had 10 the day before that and 14 the night before that. Those are the 4 games in Minnesota. So 3 of those games they had 10 hits or more. And they won. And the one that they did, they got a good pitching performance and won that game.
Hafner swings and misses.
This isn't the typical, bomber team where I agree with you, Kenny. You need more hits, and you see Hafner out in front of this split finger. Your Oriole days where a lot of 3-run homers. Sometimes you could make up a lot of ground with that big home run, but you need to string together hits now if you're part of the Yankees. Score runs.
You need help from the bottom of the order, and they got some of that in Minnesota.
Here's Vernon Wells getting his second straight start against a right-hander. Pitch outside.
I think, Michael, you and I talked about in Baltimore how the lineup used to be more circular, where the Yankees, back when you were playing ball, the Yankees could start a rally anywhere in the lineup, and the other guys could finish it off.
There was no rest for pitchers, and we talked about a little bit. The Yankees lineup almost looks like a National League lineup now.
There's a base hit for Wells, trying to play us back into everyday status. A 2-out single here in the fourth.
Wells hit the ball hard yesterday in Minnesota.
Wells gets a high pitch here. Tails back over the plate, stays on top of it, hits it hard. Kind of hesitate because that shortstop's got a chance, but that ball stayed up. It didn't hook down. Good sound.
Well, he hit one ball hard in Minnesota yesterday, and the other hit he got was a double and a run batted in. The outfielder took a false step. Garcia couldn't catch up to it.
Here's Lyle Overbay. He walked in the second inning. Paul, you're talking about the bat that Bonds used, and Jack Curry back in the studio said that he only used sand bats.
Yeah.
And they were 34 inches and had to be precisely 31.6 ounces.
Which is really, really light. I had a 35. Most people use 34. And he would choke up on that, and it was amazing to me is how much power he could generate with that little of a bat.
So in his case, it was really all about bat speed.
Yeah. And he just, he hit the ball solid so many times.
Bat speed was part of it, yeah.
Kenny, I was looking at when we had that shot of Buck Showalter, and these major league teams change their uniforms and hats all the time, and you see the O now on and then back in the old days, you always remember watching that little bird up there on the cap.
Oh, they have various caps now. This is just one of their road caps. The one they have has the white facing with the Oriole, cartoon Oriole. That's the one they wear at home, or they wear it on the road sometimes as well. It depends on what's someone around getting clean, I guess. They bring the other ones in.
Count 3-1.
Trying to think, the team that was kind of the hardest to keep up with. Yeah, there's the cartoon bird. The team that was hardest to keep up with was the Oakland A's. They had like 1,000 uniforms.
Mix or match, huh?
3-2. That's going to release Wells at first.
It's funny you talk about the Oakland A's, and Michael, you're going to laugh at this. If any kids are watching, they're going to think I'm crazy. But when they were going through that time, I remember it was the first color TV that we got at home. And you saw all these cool uniforms, because you're right. They had bright green, lime green, white shoes. And to see it on television was pretty cool. I was a big Oakland A fan back then, just because they had cool uniforms.
Was that back when Reggie was with them?
Yeah, back in the 70s when they were good.
Vita Blue, Sal Bando.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. I can tell you.
3-2. Runner goes. Pitch outside. So another walk to Overbay.
2 walks for Gonzalez. Both times it's been Overbay.
Now these are those at bats. You're down 2-0. 2 outs. A big hit. Get on the board. Get this game going offensively.
And what a pitcher's going to do when he's navigating the Yankee lineup, he's not going to really challenge Overbay. If you look at the bottom 3 in the Yankee order, a pitcher's going to take his chance with Cruz, Stewart, and Adams. And I think that's what Gonzalez is doing here. So here's Luis Cruz. Dodgers let him go. He was hitting 127 with 45 games. But then last year with the Dodgers, in 78 games, hit 297 with 6 homers and 40 runs batted in.
It's amazing. I mean, guys have up and down years, and you usually don't see a guy that good of a year last year even up on him. Good split finger there, off speed.
First and second, 2 outs, 0-2 count on Cruz. Bottom of the fourth, 2-0 O's. Line drive, base hit. Charging is McLeod. Rounding third and heading home as Wells. Here's the throw. Here's the play at the plate. He's in there. An RBI single for Cruz. It's 2-1 Orioles.
Bang, bang, play at the plate. I thought that Vernon Wells cut the corner nicely at third base. That's one of the keys to this play. McLeod, former Gold Glover, launches a strong throw to the plate. One hop to Wieters. The foot gets in there. We'll take another look. Well, this is close. Well, it didn't look like Vernon touched the plate, did it, with his left foot? But he gets the call. Watch his left foot. Does it touch home plate? Barely. Wow.
I got to believe that. I mean, the Yankees might have caught a break there. And McLeod, I mean, he knew he had a good shot at throwing him out, an accurate throw.
Man, that's close.
Showalter came out and argued with Gary Darling. Nothing theatrical, but he had a discussion with the home plate umpire. And now here's Chris Stewart as the Yankees have cut the Orioles' lead in half.
That's one of those plays they call it either way. It's tough to argue.
Right.
Now Cruz has said that the bad start, and you'll see a freeze here, is that spike on the corner as the glove is touching his hip. It's very, very close. You could sell it either way.
Great job by the truck. Man, that's amazing.
Fly ball. Left center. Adam Jones will put it away for the final out of the inning. But the Yankees get a run on 2 hits and 2 men left on base. We played 4 here in the stadium. That play at the plate made it 2-1 O's. Players are superstitious, I guess. MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Yankees baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Here's J.J. Hardy. Pitch outside. 1-0. 2-1. Orioles lead. Hardy, Flaherty, and Roberts. Bottom of the order against Nova.
That's the pitch that's dangerous when Nova. He gets that fastball up and it loses all of its movement.
And that's in Hardy's wheelhouse, too.
Yep.
Even though he carries his hands low, somehow he's able to get the bat up in the strike zone and get it through. He's a good high fastball hitter. Some hitters like the fastball down. He likes it up. It's almost like a chopping type swing. Only shortstop in the major leagues with at least 20 home runs in each of the last 2 seasons. It looks like he's on his way to 20 again this year.
Squibb the other way, foul.
I mentioned the fact that he carries his hands low. That means he has to get the back up, momentum, and then come on through the high ball. Not many hitters do this.
This kind of goes totally against, looking back. I always wanted to stay on top of the ball, and not pop the ball up. And everybody has their different ways. I mean, you look at Euclid, the way he holds his bat up in his hands. And, everybody, you have to be comfortable. That's the first thing you tell a kid. Help me with my hitting. Well, the first thing is you have to be comfortable in your stance.
96-mile-an-hour fastball on the black. Hardy down looking.
Take a look right to the glove. Chris Stewart with a good reception too. Kind of definitely pulled the glove back up a little bit more. Got the call from Gary Darling. And Hardy's going to take that well-known left turn, head back to the dugout. I made those a few times.
It's well known, but it's never fun. You know that? You go back kind of shaking your head, trying to go over the at-bat in your mind. What did I do wrong? And it's usually from missing a pitch earlier in the count.
That you fouled it back. Yeah.
Yep.
Pitch to Flaherty is a strike. Nova's putting pressure on somebody the way he's pitching. Great split, 33 strikes out of 46 pitches, and the fastball that he got Hardy looking was 96 miles an hour. You're going to pitch like that against an Oriole lineup that can hit. They're going to have to find a spot for you in that rotation. Now, the only reason he's starting this one is because of the injury to Kuroda. But the Yankees had him up here, playing with a short bench.
Good sharp breaking ball.
I'll tell you what, he doesn't really need to mess around. When you're throwing 95, 96, and you can get some sink in there too, and then throw that curveball, you don't really need to mess around with that slider. You might want to show something off speed as a changeup or something, but
could not hold up. Flaherty down on strikes.
Again, ahead in the count. Big breaking ball.
Retired 11 in a row now. Got him to chase one out of the zone. That's a very effective pitch when you're ahead in the count. You make it look like a strike. What does Coney call it? The illusion of a strike.
Yeah.
And hitters begins to start. And one reason hitters will start because that ball is over the plate. If it's outside or too far inside, they're not going to swing at it. Andy Pettit's good at throwing that illusion of a strike.
See the difference in that one. That's a get me over curveball for a strike. Most hitters will take that breaking ball right out, first pitch. So you can throw that one a little bit easier, throw it for a strike, and then you throw the harder one into the dirt when you're ahead in the count.
There he goes. He's ahead in the count again. He's had some very low pitch innings in this game. What, 4 in 1 inning?
Yeah.
Thirteen of the 18 batters have seen a first pitch strike. That's keeping them off balance. Hitters become more defensive.
Hit it again.
Swing and a miss.
Making us look smart up here, isn't he, Ken?
My goodness.
Quite an inning as he retires the side in order, all on strikeouts. First, J.J. Hardy. He's down looking. Ryan Flaherty swings and misses. And Brian Roberts cannot hold up. He goes around. 3 up, 3 down. Brought to you in part by UFC 162. New York's own Chris Weidman challenges the #1 pound-for-pound fighter Anderson Silva tomorrow at 10, live on pay-per-view. All right, so an impressive top of the 5th for Ivan Nova. Orioles lead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the inning. David Adams leads off against Miguel Gonzalez. Pitch is high, 1-0. Adams with a fly ball to center in his only at bat. The home runs, the RBIs, most of that came in Adams' start in the big leagues, but since then either the league has caught on to him or he's in a terrible slump. Pitch up and away.
I think as a young hitter, and trying to remember back in the last century when I was playing, the thing is, you put yourself under a lot of pressure because you realize as a young player it doesn't take much to get you out of the lineup, as opposed to when you're a seasoned veteran and you can mess up as much as you want, you're still going to play.
You don't even look at the lineup card. You just know you're in there, and you also you get in a hitter's count, which he was right there, 2-0, and you just assume Gonzalez is going to throw you a great pitch to hit. That ball's in on his hands. And before you know it, you blink of an eye, now you're 2-2.
Yeah.
And, you really haven't seen that split-fingered yet. So, it's like a young guy can always find a way to get himself in trouble at the plate. And it's just from being a little bit over anxious.
Young guy, you go for 15, you probably wouldn't even get that far. But a veteran player, you'll get 0 for, you might even get 0 for 20.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, me too. And you're still playing.
Yeah.
And he works a walk. That's one part that he has added to his game. He's still struggling, but at least he's taking some walks. Let's check out the McDonald's upcoming schedule. 2 more games against the Orioles, both afternoon affairs here at the stadium. We'll have them on, yes, both 105 starts. Then Kansas City comes in for 3 night games, a 105 matinee on Thursday. And over the weekend, the Minnesota Twins come in, a night game and 2 105 starts. So all of the homestand is on, yes, and then the All-Star break.
Think you can do all those, Michael?
Gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, he just came off a month break over here. No?
Month? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're normal Ray. Here's Brett Gardner. And Adams stumbles back to first. Got this great stat that a friend of mine sent to me. I believe it's from ESPN. Red Sox won over the Padres yesterday, and Jose Iglesias was 2 for 4. He's batting .411 on the season. That's the kid that's been so good that they sent Will Middlebrooks down to the minors.
Yeah.
The 0-1 low. Now, Iglesias had an at-bat in 41 games this season. At the end of each of those games, his batting average has been over 400. That's the third longest streak in Major League Baseball since 1925. Only 2 players have longer streaks
Of being over 400.
in consecutive games.
Ted Williams?
No.
Tony Gwynn?
Nope.
Paul O'Neill?
How many guesses we get?
Well, there are 2 players that have had longer streaks. One of them is Hank Aaron. He had 59 games where he was over 400. That was in 1959. And then a young curly-haired kid from Cincinnati, 56 games, Paul O'Neill in 1994.
Yeah.
There you go.
I might have gone 100 if Michael would have left me alone. Jinxed me. I told you. It's terrible.
It's the year you won the batting title.
Yeah, but I would have hit higher anyway.
The 1-2.
Oh, it'd be fun year then.
You could have hit 400. You could have been a 400 hitter.
That's nice company to be with.
Yeah.
Hammer and Hank.
Pretty good player.
Awesome hitter. There wasn't any fastball too fast for him.
Al Downing, an old timers game, and Al Downing had a great career, but as a kid growing up, the only thing I remember about Al Downing is he gave up Hank Aaron's 714th home run.
You were right the first time when you said the Hammer.
Yeah,
that was his nickname.
Is he a good fielder too? All around.
Yeah,
right?
he's an all-around player.
Not like Willie Mays, but
Hank had less flair, but he was lethally effective in all phases of the game.
Gardner's working count to 2-2. Runner on first base. We're in the bottom of the 5th. It's a 2-1 Oriole lead over the Yankees. First game of a 3-game set.
If you needed a base to be stolen, he could steal a base.
right. And you get a walk to your 9th hitter, and you get the top of the order. Big inning here. Big pitch. 2-2.
Swing and a miss. Gardner goes down.
Back to the split finger, and Gonzalez has done it a lot when he gets to that 2-strike count. As a hitter, it's easy to say, oh, well, make it be up and make it be a strike, but that pitch is in the strike zone out of his hands, and it just runs out and dives and stays out of the strike zone. Not much you can do with it.
That's why he's very effective against left-handed hitters. That very same pitch. As Paul said, it looks like a strike until it gets about 4 feet, maybe 5 feet in front of the plate, and then it starts to disappear.
Here's Ichiro. Drilled to right field. It's a base hit. Cutting over is Markakis. Ichiro's going for 2. He'll make it. Adams stops at third.
Couple of things working here. Ichiro hit the ball well as last time. Almost hit a home run. He waits back on this pitch, and a lot of hitters, that was that splitter. A lot of hitters might have had only a single, which would have left the double play in order. But Ichiro has the speed to turn this into a 2-base hit. And now the double play is not in order. You're going to see how the Orioles set up defensively with runners at second and third as Adams goes all the way to third. on Ichiro's 2-base hit. Ichiro's swinging the bat well. He's got a 5-game hitting streak now.
Smart play on Markakis too. I mean, he knows who's running. You come up, throw to second base. You know, something happens. Adams scores. You hit the cutoff man. You know you've got no chance of throwing Ichiro out at second base.
Well, they're going to intentionally walk Cano to load the bases. So they are issuing the challenge to Travis Hafner. And this is the statistical move to make. Cano's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball, so you're not going to let him beat you, and you also set up the double play. So there's ball 4.
Now what's interesting is in the 3-2 game that the Yankees won in Minnesota, it was the same situation. There was a runner on third and a runner on second. At the time there was nobody out and Cano was up and they pitched to him and he hit a double and drove in 2 runs.
Wasn't it Buck years and years ago that walked Bonds
with the bases loaded?
With the bases loaded.
I think the pitch to Brent Maine.
And he hit a bullet back
to right.
Yeah.
Yep. Won the game. That was in the 9th inning. So he forced in a run. So here's Hafner. One and 0.
Big opportunity for Hafner, and you see the infield right there, not able to shift quite as much with the runners on base.
Two and 0.
Back-to-back split fingers right there. He's dug himself in a hole. And Kenny, I don't care what kind of pitch you are here. As a hitter, you got to know that he's probably going to throw that little sinker away, and you just got to go with it. That left field gap will score 3 runs right here if you hit it.
That's where he hit one yesterday. Picked up a double.
Adams at third, Ichiro at second, Cano is at first. 2-0 count on Hafner. 1 man out. Bottom of the 5th. Missed outside, just missed. 3-0.
There's that sinker you were talking about, trying to get him to try and do too much and pull the ball on the ground.
Managing here, Kenny, it's 3-0. You've got a guy up there that's capable of hitting the grand slam. Do you give him the green light here? Or you just let this guy try to dig himself a bigger hole?
Well, if you figure he walks and the game is tied,
I got to give the take, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd make him take 1 pitch.
The 3-0.
Taking all the way. You saw Hafner, you can tell when a hitter's, just taking a pitch or when he's really going after it. You get in that situation, Kenny, where you're taking 3-0, and then all of a sudden, you take a little break because you're not swinging. You have to mentally get yourself back in there, knowing, all right, now I'm back in this count. I got to get ready.
The 3-1. Fly ball shallow center. Tagging is Adams. Jones has a good arm. He makes the catch. Adams bluffs, and the throw is cut off by Davis. So Hafner could not get the run in.
Jones doesn't make a great throw, but if you're Robbie Thompson, you just cannot take this opportunity and give it away and have a guy thrown out and end this inning. You still are, a big hit away from taking the lead.
Yeah, Jones is a Gold Glove center fielder, and one of the reasons because he has a decent arm. Pitch by pitch. Splitter misses. Another one misses. 2 balls and no strikes. Sinker misses. That's a strike. And there's the pitch. You got it in on him just enough. After trying to get under it, come through it a little more, you drive it.
Here's Vernon Wells. He is 1 for 2. Scored the Yankees' only run. Now bases loaded, 2 men out. Foul back and out of play. Troy Patton warming for the Orioles. One and one.
Wells had a 6 for 16 road trip with 4 runs batted in. And he's 1 for 2 tonight.
Popped up. Davis makes the play, and the Yankees had the bases loaded and 1 out. They could not get a run in. Fly ball by Hafner, a pop up by Wells. We go to the 6th. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. Well, wasted opportunity for the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th. They couldn't get it done with their 4th and 5th hitters in the lineup coming up. Bases loaded, 1 out. So here's Nate McLouth against Ivan Novin. McLouth has struck out twice against the Yankee right-hander. And that one is hammered to right field. It's a base hit. Ichiro played up against the wall, and he's going to hold McLouth to a single.
That's all on Ichiro right there. McLouth got out of the box. Good speed. Wise decision, though. Ichiro got a good carom off the wall. Waits for it. Comes up clean and just knows he's got a chance.
And if you're McLouth, you're thinking, well, I've got 24 stolen bases. You know, why should I get thrown out here? Maybe I can steal second on my own and pad those stats.
I tell you what, you just talk about a swing of momentum, though. You can just feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, Yankees bases loaded, score nothing. And all of a sudden, you know, you've got a leadoff double or a leadoff single.
Machado, 1-0 at the plate. Tomorrow, he will be able to drink legally for the first time in his life. He'll turn 21 tomorrow.
Wow.
Count 2-0.
Tell you what, he hasn't spent much on razors.
Some people look their age. He looks like he's 20 years old.
Exactly. He is some kind of player. When all the time in the minor leagues, he was a shortstop, and with a bat. A week before he got called up, they were working him out at third base in the minor leagues. Just say, man, take some ground balls over at third. After about the third day, he kind of figured it out. He says,
got a chance.
I might be moving up somewhere. The Orioles had a need at third base. Mark Reynolds is making errors every day. And when Manny came up, they tightened up their defense. They moved Reynolds over to first. He did a good job at first. And Manny was really great at third.
Sorry, notice last year, every once in a while, he would open up and just try to do too much with the pitch, try to hit a home run. And this year, he'll still go for pitches, but his swing is much more just, it's level. He's hitting the ball from gap to gap.
Adams to second one. On to first. It's a double play.
Nova loves it. He takes something off that pitch. It's Machado out front. And is there anybody that turns a double play better than Robbie Cano with that arm strength? It's a big pitch right there. You get a leadoff single. It just goes to show you how important that play was from Ichiro. Keep him in first base. All of a sudden it sets up for that double play.
They didn't really give McLeod a chance to steal second.
No. Very economical for Nova as he deals a strike to Markakis. Markakis is 1 for 2. Single to left center in the first, grounded to short in the third.
Sometimes you get caught up with what's going on bad, and the Yankee offense has not put up numbers, but you've got a 2-run home run early in the game. Nova's done a great job. He's stayed ahead of hitters. He's used that curveball well to get strikeouts. At this point, Kenny, I think that you have to give him a high mark of how he's thrown the ball tonight.
This goes back to when he came into relief in Baltimore. He did a pretty good job there too. Now, here's a number that I think people would be surprised to find out. Nova's career winning percentage as a starter. He's 30-14, .682. It's the highest for any current pitcher who started at least 50 games.
And he strikes out Markakis looking. 9-pitch inning for Nova. No runs a hit because of the double play. Nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Stadium tomorrow afternoon, July 6th, for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Orioles. The first 18,000 guests in attendance receive an Andy Pettitte figurine, courtesy of PC Richard & Son. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees Clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. There's Andy
Oh, he got a smile on his face. He even has a smile on his face when he's releasing the ball in that figurine.
Ground ball to first off the bat of Overbay. So Andy will get the start tomorrow, and they'll give out a figurine.
Now, was that coincidence? Or
total coincidence.
Yeah? So they planned this day a while ago. They just didn't see the pitching match.
That's right. Now here's Luis Cruz. Now I was about to tell you a story on the end of the inning after you see 2-1 Orioles. He picked up an RBI single in the fourth. He really did not hit at all with the Dodgers, and he said that part of the trouble that he had was his dad was really ill, and it distracted him. He couldn't be focused, and that's why his average went last year from 297 to what it was with the Dodgers, 127, and they let him go. His dad has rallied, is better, and now he can focus on the game of baseball. He said, but he let his dad's illness certainly get in the way of his focus on the field. And that one is hammered to left field, and it's caught there by McLeod. So 2 hits yesterday, an RBI single today, and a hard hit ball there, so maybe he's on to something.
Yeah, I mentioned in Minnesota that his dad was a 16-year player in the Mexican League. 297 hitter in 16 years, drove in over 1,000 runs, over 200 home runs, and was one of the better players in the Mexican League. His dad's very happy he's a member of the New York Yankees now. Put that ball right on the nose.
Personally, big league guy that I remember from the Met was Fernando Valenzuela when he came over from the Mexican League.
Well, he's Fernando Mania.
Yeah.
What he won like his first 100 starts?
Something like that.
Stewart's 0 for 2 with a ground ball to third and a fly ball to center.
Talk about Mania out in L.A. again. Help me with the pronunciation of this.
Yasiel Puig.
Puig.
Yeah.
Boy, he's been something. He had 40-some hits in his first 100 at-bats.
44 out of 100.
It's a pretty good start to your major league career. Huh?
Might want to retire.
And there's some debate on whether or not he should be on the All-Star team. Yeah. Jonathan Papelbon of the Phillies said absolutely not. There are guys who played the whole season that deserve it. But my buddy John Heyman wrote that I think that Mark Fidget started the All-Star game.
Yeah.
After 12 starts in the first half. So there is precedent to having some. Also, you want to highlight the best players, and everybody wants to see this kid play.
I think another thing, there's two ways to look at it. You can see where Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Giants, is going to pick the reserves. And he might be thinking there's somebody who's played all year and might be more deserving. But the All-Star game means something. Don't you want the best guys in there too that give you a chance to win, that give you that edge in the in the World Series?
The 2-1 fouled straight back here, just under our booth.
So you might want a guy on your team that's had 44 hits in his first 100 at bats.
Now they're bitter rivals. Does that have anything to do with it? You know, if you're a Giants fan, you hate the Dodgers.
You know what? I didn't think I didn't really think about it that way. But you could be right. It might even heat that rivalry up even more if he doesn't pick him.
You know, Major League Baseball is kind of caught in the middle. You want to highlight your stars, but then this game means something. It decides home field advantage. But then you've got managers that try to get every single player in. If it meant something, you just play your best players for 9 innings. Yeah. So exactly what is it? It's kind of a hybrid. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, even back in the day, I can remember the National League used to bat Willie Mays first, and he would play the whole game.
And so a 2-out walk for Stewart. That's going to bring up David Adams.
No, I haven't even seen the American League voting. Who's one of the shortstops?
Hardy.
Yeah. And so, you know, Derek Jeter, it was a given every year if he was on the field, right?
Derek got a lot of votes for somebody who has not played in inning.
He got over 800,000 votes.
Amazing.
Adams flied out to center and walked in the 5th inning, so he's 0 for 1.
Gonzalez has actually walked more than he's given up hits tonight. And he's still been able to avoid a lot of trouble, in particular last inning. He had 2 walks. One of them was intentional.
You take away a couple of at bats. I mean, he could have given up a lot of runs tonight. The Yankees have had a lot of opportunities to put runs on the board, and it just seems that he has been able to get the big outs. That's what it comes down to.
Ripped to center field, but Jones is right there, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left on base. Gonzalez 6 full. He leads 2-1. Nick Markakis. Let's look at it, Paul.
I'll tell you what, this is as good as it gets. A good low sinker, strike one. Nibble with another sinker, but one of his few change-ups right there, and then put him away with a good curveball. I'll tell you what, this is as good as you've seen Ivan Nova all year.
Well, he's making his case to stay in this rotation, but right now the Yankees have 6 starters if you include him. There's the Cadillac scoreboard, 2-1 O's. And Nova ready to deal to Jones. 61 pitches through 6 innings. Outstandingly economical.
Unlike our wives, Mike.
What do you mean? Oh, you're...
Neville, ring a bell for you.
Neville does spend a lot of the O'Neill fortune.
You mentioned the fact that the Orioles have a young team. Most of their better players are in their 20s. That includes Adam Jones, and he's played in every game.
It is amazing how times have changed. Now, you know, Joe Girardi, if the team's playing 20 games in a row, really gets nervous about playing somebody every single game. And I don't think Cal Ripken Jr. could ever happen again.
Machado's played in every game. Davis has played in every game but one because he hurt his leg running to first base. He only missed one.
Swing and a miss.
I'll tell you what, that put away curveball that he has working tonight. I mean, you're seeing a good hitting team here too. You're not seeing a team that's struggling. These guys can swing the bat. It's just a nasty, nasty curveball.
And when Jones came to the big leagues, this is the pitch he had problems with, and would chase time and time again. There's that helicopter swing.
Yeah, that's the one that usually can end up on the helmet of the catcher. You hate to see that thing, that one-hand release.
Here's Chris Davis. Count 1-0. Davis was hit by a pitch in the second inning, came around to score on Wieters' home run. And that's the only scoring against Nova. He's allowed just 3 hits. A couple of moments ago, after the strikeout, Adam Jones goes into the runway. And he finally hits one. Whoa. He is angry.
It wasn't the bat, it wasn't the helmet.
He's a good guy, too. But
He's hard.
He's just frustrated, plays hard. There's a little batting cage right there as well, so you hope that no one was taking any hacks. Did you ever get that angry, Paul? I've seen you angry, but I never saw you take a swipe at a helmet.
You know what? The frustration of this game, and it's because it's every single day that, you know, it builds up, and it's just, it doesn't bother me a bit. If I'm a manager, I absolutely love guys that care about striking out. But not everybody's built that way. They're not wired that way. Some guys are fine with them. They'll get them next time.
Another strikeout for Nova.
This is number 9. And Paul talked about it. This hook has been amazing tonight. Right over the top is Davis. Davis struck out 3 times yesterday. Let's see what his reaction is.
When you got as many home runs and RBIs as he's got,
yeah, you just say it's
a matter of time before the next one's coming.
Well, he's coming up on 100 strikeouts this year.
Here's Wieters against Nova. Wieters the difference in this game, the 2-run home run in the second.
I remember throwing some equipment once, but it wasn't hitting related. It was because I messed up a ball in the outfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the way Nova's gone about. He's basically been a 2-pitch pitcher tonight. I mean, he threw that one good change up to Markakis last inning, but hasn't thrown a lot of them. It's been fastball, curveball.
Giving up just 3 hits. Unfortunately for him, one was a home run. And to somebody who's hit him pretty well in the past, so it hasn't taken much of a mistake by Nova to put Wieters in play.
Two and two.
Another one of the change-ups, and that's that third pitch. You know, if you get through to the middle of the game, these guys' third, fourth at bats, and then throw another pitch in there, it can be really good because you see the movement on that change-up is just like his sinker.
Just missed.
Well, back to the second inning, out over the plate. Wieters gets extended on the swing, gets Goodwood on it, and on the top of the fence it goes over. His 11th home run of the year.
Did he go? No, he did not. A walk to Wieters.
Couldn't get him to chase, almost. And that is the first walk handed out by Nova tonight.
Joe Girardi, you got to be thinking these are the games that you need to win. You hate to waste a really, really good pitching performance from somebody, and just got to figure out how to battle and get back in this game, tie it up, and go ahead.
Fastball's high to Hardy as Stewart goes out and talks with Nova. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Popped up. Cruz is there, and he'll make the play. And what a strong 7 innings for Ivan Nova. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees trail the Orioles 2-1, but will stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps. And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate. And welcome 2 honored guests of the New York Yankees. New York Army National Guard Command Sergeant Major John Howard, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And New York Army National Guard Major Lee Vartigman, who served in the global war on terrorism. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Chicago just beat the Orioles 2 out of 3, now losing to the Rays tonight. Time for the game summary, brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. It's 2-1 Orioles. Orioles have 3 hits, Yankees 4. Wieters a 2-run home run. That's the scoring against Nova, who's been brilliant. 7 inning, 3 hits. And Cruz picked up an RBI single for the Yankees' only run. Buck Showalter makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. So Miguel Gonzalez turns it over to the pen. And the first man they go to is the left-handed Troy Patton. This is his 33rd game. 38 hits in 35 and 2/3 innings.
Oh, with the lineup of left-handed hitters the Yankees have stacked at the top, this is the move that we've seen very often in these type of games. When the Yankees face a right-hander, the first man out of the bullpen is a lefty.
Shows bunt, takes a strike. Cadillac scoreboard, 2-1 Orioles. Gardner, Ichiro, and then Cano.
Pat had a good month of June, an ERA of 1.46.
You see that delivery from Patton. They had dropped down and just kind of pull that slider all the way across the plate.
Checked the swing, but a called strike, 1-2.
This is what Paul's talking about. Paul, who's the lefty that gave you the most problems?
Oh, there's a whole boatload of it. Jesse Orozco was no fun, and he kind of came at that same angle, that sidearm delivery. These guys aren't starting pitchers for a reason. They come out of the pen for one thing, to get lefties out. Tough release points for left-handed batters to face, to see. From that, from that sidearm, you can do a lot of things. You can make that ball really break away, and you can run it back in on them.
And Gardner's down looking, and he does not like the call. Strikes out for the third time tonight after the leadoff double in the first.
Well, this is a tough pitch. This is the pitch that kind of stayed inside, and no reason to argue with Gary Darling. Gardner, I tried it for years. It doesn't do you any good. But that ball right there really probably is never a strike in the strike zone. Up and in.
Well, it almost looked as though Gardner was looking for that sweep and break the ball away. Yep.
Ground ball to second. Ichiro's out for the second out. You look at the way the Yankee lineup is configured, and there's such a problem with hitters from the right side, with Jeter out, A-Rod out, that it makes it, Nunez, it makes it too easy for a manager to match up. Now, Buck Showalter knows that he brings in a lefty. He's got 4 left-handers in a row that Girardi really doesn't have the capability of pinch hitting for.
Yeah, and you know who it's hurting? It's hurting Gardner, and it's hurting Hafner. I mean, Cano's going to face tough lefties because they're going to bring guys in to face him, and Ichiro, and these guys can hit lefties, no problem. But Hafner, you don't want to set up those situations, big at bats against lefties. And Gardner, you want him to get a lot of at bats against righties.
Here's where the absence of somebody like Mark Teixeira, because you stick him right in there, and all of a sudden the other manager, well, I can bring in a lefty, but if one of these guys gets on, then you got Teixeira up with a man on base. And the switch hitter who's just as good from one side to the other, but just as much power from one side to the other. You think back to the days when Bernie Williams was in the line, or even Nick Swisher. But those are guys that it made it hard for the other manager to match up in certain situations.
And Posada.
I don't want to forget Jorge.
Yeah, this is a very, I mean, we've seen every manager that has a lefty. This is when you do it. You look at it. When this part of the lineup's coming out, that's when you go into your bullpen to get your lefty. Grounded to third. Machado, the throw goes past Davis as Cano will head back to first. So they had the shift on, and Machado played a little shortstop there, threw across his body and hurried it, and Cano reaches on the E5.
Now Machado and the Orioles don't make many errors. This is only their 28th error of the year, the fewest in the American League. He comes up with it cleanly, but throwing on the run, it is way wide of first base. Davis didn't have much of a chance to come up with it. Machado has now made 3 errors this year.
Third base, that's not many.
No, excuse me, 6. 6 errors. That's still not many.
So here's Hafner around with a runner on first that was scored in E5 on the throw. They have a shift on for him with the 3 infielders on the right side. Hafner had a chance. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th inning. hit a shallow fly ball to Adam Jones in center. Now, we've told you about the possibilities of Jeter and A-Rod coming back. Well, Jeter would be slotted into the number 2 spot in the lineup. Right away, that breaks it up. And A-Rod would probably bat behind Cano, and that breaks it up. So you have some minefields there if a manager brings in a left-hander.
We're probably getting a little ahead of ourselves, but Jeter's slotted into the 2 hole. Then where do you go with Ichiro? Down 7th or 8th?
Probably. Darren O'Day getting ready. He's been brilliant for the Orioles.
Well, he really came into his own last year in the playoffs against the Yankees, against lefties and righties, and you would think only righties with his sidearm delivery. He's done a great job.
Be interesting if Hafner gets on, and with Wells coming up, do they go to O'Day, and then does Girardi counter? There's a check swing, grounded foul. Does he counter with Zoilo Almonte, or does he let Wells go up against the sidewinding righty? This is what Travis has done against left-handers this year. So the overall average is 226, but much lower against lefties. Two 2-1 Orioles lead. We're on the bottom of the 7th. Two and two.
Kind of wait, hold your breath on that one, Kenny. That's that slider away. Umpires seem to give lefties a little bit off that corner. This ball's close.
Now, these are the type of games that the Orioles won quite a bit last year. These one-run games, what were they, 29-9? This year they're 12-12. Those sort of things kind of run the gamut. You might have 1 year like it, but it's hard to put 2 years together where you win so many one-run games.
Rounded to first, off the glove of Davis. And the second baseman, Flaherty, backing up, flips it to Davis. So that's 3-4-3 to end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. Goes under the glove of Davis, but Flaherty is there. Back to Davis for the final out.
strikeouts. One thing that's been evident throughout these strikeouts, there's a fastball right there, but it's been the breaking ball that's been the primary pitch to put hitters away. So the fastball there. Now watch the sharpness of these breaking balls. The Orioles hitters are either looking or flailing away. 9 strikeouts. His career high is 12. He did that against the Cincinnati Reds in interleague play.
Well, his pitch count's in good shape right now.
Michael, we did that game against the Cincinnati Reds. Remember
Yes,
that?
we did.
That was in Cincinnati?
Oh, did we have a blast.
Flaherty, Roberts, and Nate McLouth, 8-9-1 for the O's against Ivan Nova. Right back to Nova, knocks it down. 1 out.
I heard that night in Cincinnati that Nova struck out 12. Did the game move along fairly quickly?
Not bad.
Yeah. I heard it was a eating delight in the booth that night.
I'm trying to take care of Michael when he comes in town.
Hyundai scoreboard, top of the 8th, 2-1. O's over the Yanks.
You know people in Cincinnati.
A couple. Yeah. There's an ice cream shop there too, and a ribs place. Michael, he's a regular at all of them.
They deliver all over the country.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's big business for their specialty foods.
Speaking of ice cream, we should thank our friends at Turkey Hill for bringing the ice cream to the booth, and also to all the guys and gals that work so hard in the truck. They were refreshed by some Turkey Hill ice cream earlier, so thank you to Turkey Hill, a proud sponsor of the broadcast here on Yes.
Wow. The official ice cream of the New York Yankees.
Look at those batting gloves. They get your attention, don't they?
Swing and a miss there. Strikeout number 10. Roberts is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Let's check out tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet that's powerful. Andy Pettit gets a start on Andy Pettit figurine day at the stadium. And Chris Tillman, look at that record, 10-2, 3.68. Coverage will begin at noon on Yes. The pregame show at 12:30, and first pitch will be right around 1:07. Here's McLouth. Right back to Nova. What an 8-inning stint by Ivan Nova. But his offense must pick him up as he goes to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Orioles leading the Yankees 2-1. Nova used his height, went up and got this one to finish up a 1-2-3 inning. WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry have a complete wrap-up of tonight's matchup, including highlights from all around baseball. Plus, Meredith Morakovitz gets the reaction from the clubhouse. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. There's one of our studio hosts, Chris Sheeran, with his lovely wife, Jackie. He is enjoying the game. And the Hyundai scoreboard shows the Orioles leading the Yankees 2-1. Darren O'Day, the third pitcher for Buck Showalter, will come on to pitch the eighth. And you see his numbers. This is his 40th game, 38 strikeouts in 37 innings. And Girardi is going to leave Vernon Wells in there against O'Day. Foul back.
You know, Michael, today before the game, we were talking to Coach Calipari, who was in that, down on the field.
Of Kentucky.
Then we went to the desk at Bob Lorenz. A little similarity there, I think. Tie. And,
yeah, it looks a little bit,
yeah.
Sure.
Bob Lorenz.
Got the same kind of hair product I think they use. The 0-1. Well, he's giving him 2 pitches hit because what you want to do with Wells is get the ball away, and he's giving him 2 right over the inside part of the plate, and he's fouled it back.
You know, Wells might be up there because he's hit 2 home runs off of O'Day, and you would think O'Day is very stingy against right-handed hitters. You know, his delivery, you could see where he hides the ball, in a way he kind of slings it up there. Well, we do have Coach Cal before the game.
There he is.
Brian Cashman. We came in later, though.
The 1-2. Now working away from Wells in the count 2-2. Wells, Overbay, and Cruz here in the bottom of the 8th inning as the Yankees try to pick up Ivan Nova, who has given them everything they could possibly want against a very, very good hitting team. Allowed just 3 hits, and he's trailing 2-1. Tries to pull the outside pitch and grounds it to Hardy. And he gets Wells for the first out. To vote for the Chevy player of the game, visit votechevy.com. Results will be revealed in the postgame show.
You saw J.J. Hardy make that play at shortstop. Now, he is not particularly flashy, but one thing you have to remember, he's the Gold Glove shortstop in the American League. His range factor is up there. He has a very strong arm, can throw on the run, and he hits home runs.
What, that was kind of that in-between ball where you got to wait, and then you have to kind of rush it because it takes so long for it to get to you.
Here's Overbay. He has walked twice and grounded to first, so he's 0 for 1.
Now, left-handed hitters has more of a chance against O'Day, but even that first delivery, you're not used to seeing the ball coming from down there unless he really centers it. You know, left-handed hitters can have a problem with it. Once you get used to find that release point, you see it a lot longer than a right-hander hitter would.
You know, the difference with him, and you see that's a breaking ball, is most guys from that submarine windup are usually 82, 84. That first pitch is 88.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it's hard enough to get lefties out, and he's got really, really good control. He doesn't just rely on deception. He hits spots. Time I see somebody that throws a ball like this, I just think, you know, this has been learned later in life, because you just don't pick up a baseball and start throwing sidearm. You know, most people are up top a little bit. You know, you find a little niche that, you know, you can get hitters out with. And
there's a base hit to right center field. Cutting over is Markakis, and Overbay with a single with 1 out here in the 8th.
O'Day got that one right down Broadway, right down the middle of the plate. Talking about his control, you see this ball slides right over the middle of the plate. Overbay gets a good swing on it. Just drives it up the middle.
Got to hit the mistakes.
Yep.
Mercedes-Benz. Yes, Mo. Here's the delivery, and this time it's going to get turned around.
Even in slow motion, it went out there hard. You talk about the torque on the elbow. You know, you see some of those guys even over the top. But you see that the sidearm. It looks like it's even exposed even more. The breaking ball there.
Cruz has driven in the Yankees' only run, an RBI single in the 4th inning.
Cruz is 1 for 3, but all kind of hieroglyphics going on there to tell you how to win a game, huh?
Fouled away.
Used to be the next day starting pitcher had to chart the game. With all the video nowadays, they don't have to do that. It looks like that's pitching coach Rick Adair. He's keeping track, his own personal track of what's going on. That's how they used to keep the next day's starting pitcher focused on his job of what he's supposed to do tomorrow night.
And studying the hitters. Yeah. See, you know, it's just, if you have to watch the game and you have to chart pitches, you see what guys are and aren't hitting.
So Cruz chases a pitch up and out of the zone for the 2nd out. Yankees don't come back and win this. They're going to rue the 5th inning when they had the bases loaded, 1 out, and Hafner hits a fly ball to Jones. They hold Adams at 3rd. The throw is cut off. And then Vernon Wells with a foul ball pop-up to Davis. Bases loaded, 1 out. They get nothing. And they'll look back on that inning.
That inning and the previous inning when they left 2 men on, even though they scored their run in that inning.
1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, 9 left on base, and Girardi is going to go to his bench. He's going to send up Almonte to pinch hit for Stewart.
Well, against O'Day, I think this is the right move. I mean, Stewart, righty's going to have trouble. Almonte, you know, is going to get a better look at it. We talked about from the left side, and Buck Showalter, with nobody up in the bullpen. O'Day, like we said, has done pretty well against lefties.
Almonte's had 2 pinch hit at bats for Joe Girardi this year, and he's got 1 hit, so he's 1 for 2 in this role.
So switch hitter batting from the left side, takes pitch outside, 1-0. His face and his facial expression do not betray how big the moment is. Ever since he's come up, looks very calm. Takes a breaking pitch for a strike. Doesn't show too much emotion.
Looking down there, Robbie Thompson. 2 outs for the winning run. There's not many signs you can look for down there, huh?
Yep. It's something you can hit hard and put a charge into it.
Popped up. Flaherty is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the 8th. No runs are hit, and 1 man left on base. 8 in the books. It's 2-1 Baltimore. Afternoon, this clash of division rivals continues as the Bombers and the O's duke it out in the middle game of this 3-game set. Coverage starts at noon with Audi batting practice today and a Tri-State Ford pregame, and it's only on Yes. Well, Chris Stewart got pinch hit for, so Austin Romine takes over behind the plate. Nova's still on the mound, and he deals to Machado high, 1-0. 2-1 Orioles, Machado, Markakis, and Jones. 88 pitches for Nova.
That one he thought was a strike. Didn't get the call on Machado. Machado's got a 9-game hitting streak on the line here tonight.
And a couple balls hard. His first time up, lined one to left field. Next time up, hammered one to the shortstop. He's had a couple good swings. Didn't get anything for him.
When you think about it, this guy's been on a hitting streak all year long. I mean, he's got 34 multi-hit games.
There's a strike. Crowd of 43,396 here at Yankee Stadium on this Friday evening. Those are the pitches by inning for Nova. He had 4 single-digit pitch innings. 3-2. Sean Kelly up just in case. 3-2. Fouled away.
Machado helped Ivan Nova out there. That ball up and out of the zone. Tell you what, how level his swing is, even at that high pitch. You know, that bat stays through the hitting zone a long time when you have that level swing.
Grounded to short, Cruz. 1 out. So he comes back from down 3-0 to retire the dangerous Machado.
You know, this is the form that had Nova winning 16 games a few years ago.
Tell you what, it's been simple. I mean, he's changed a little bit from like the 7th inning on, where he threw a couple change-ups and threw some more four-seamers instead of just straight sinkers. But I tell you what, early in the game, very simple. Just sinker, curveball, and he, you know, other than the home run, he's been unbelievable tonight.
And the shame of it for Nova, the home run just got out. It hit the top of the wall and bounded into the seat rather than back onto the field. And that's the scoring for the Orioles. The 1-0. 1-1. If you missed it, this came in the 2nd inning. Chris Davis was hit by a pitch, and then Wieters goes the other way, just over the leaping try of Wells into the seats for a 2-run home run. That gave him a 2-0 lead. Yankees scored a run in the 4th, and that's the scoring in the game. 1-2 now.
Back to the changeup there, and you see Markakis cue that ball off the end, just ahead of it. Amazing. In the 9th inning, 97 pitches.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11 for Nova.
One fewer than his career high. He's going Cincinnati on the Orioles tonight.
8 2/3 is the most he's ever pitched in his major league career. He's gone 8 innings twice. So there's a young man who went down to the minor leagues, worked on things, and since coming back has been much more effective and trying to make a case for put me in the rotation. And there's a strike to Adam Jones. Jones is 0 for 3, and he's still throwing 95 miles an hour here in the 9th inning.
Kenny, I know this was kind of a fill-in for Kuroda, but I mean, you go out and pitch as well as Nova has tonight. I mean, you expect to be back out there in 5 days, I would assume, right?
This is more than a fill-in performance.
Yeah.
This is one of the best pitching performances the Yankee pitchers thrown all year long.
Foul just under our booth.
It's about as close as I've seen one.
I can't remember one getting up here.
I think one did in all the years since it opened in 2009.
So Adam Jones last time up went for that curveball out of the zone. Nova's with a good spot to throw it again. There it is.
Well, that's the first complete game, 9 innings, that Nova has ever thrown. But will his offense pick him up? We go to the bottom of the ninth. Adams, Gardner, and Ichiro due up. BAL AT NYA. This is brought to you in part by Grown Ups 2 in theaters July 12th. By your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 CR-V. And by Heineken, open your world. Enjoy responsibly. So it comes down to the bottom of the ninth inning here at the stadium. Ivan Nova, brilliant through 9. Allowed just 3 hits and 2 runs. A 2-run home run by Matt Wieters. That's the scoring, and that came in the second inning. So now they turn it over to their closer, Jim Johnson. He's blown 5 saves already this year. 37 hits and 12 walks. That's 49 base runners in 40 innings. 32 strikeouts.
Yeah, he does lead the league in saves with 29. He led the league last year with 51, but he's not quite as automatic this year as he was last year.
David Adams will start it off. Pitches low, 1-0.
He's got a good movement on his fastball. Good breaking ball. Also uses a changeup.
Now, if you're thinking, well, why are they pinch hitting for David Adams? The reason is simple. They don't have anybody to pinch hit. Zoilo Almonte's already been used. Austin Romine is in the game. And Alberto Gonzalez is the only player on the bench. You're carrying 3 bench players because you're carrying the extra pitcher. So you're making a choice between Adams and Gonzalez. And he answers with a base hit to right field. Nice play by Markakis to cut it off, but the tying run is on base. Adams picks up a single.
Well, there's his biggest fan right there. Ivan Nova just hoping that they could at least tie this up. Adams, good job of hitting. Johnson gets the ball up, and when that sinker gets up, it flattens out a little bit, laces it to right field. Markakis does a good job of cutting it off before the wall, like you said, Michael. keeps him at first base.
Yeah, they've got very good range in all three of their outfielders. All three of their outfielders, at least 2 of the 3 are legitimate center fielders, McLeod and Adam Jones.
Michael, I know you hate the bunt in the first inning.
The 9th inning, I'll deal with it.
You're taking your chances.
I think you have the bunt here.
Machado's certainly looking for the bunt.
I'll tell you what, it's so easy for Brett Gardner to put down a good bunt and get a couple things done, get him over and a base hit if he pulls it with him. Just didn't get it. Yep.
Oh, mishandled by Johnson. Everybody is safe.
I'll tell you what, I know pitchers have pitchers fielding practice quite often in spring training, but more often than not, when pitchers start to handle the ball, things can go wrong. Jim Johnson, I think he knew who's running down the bases. He might have been thinking about going to second. This wasn't the best bunt, but he can't handle it. And once he overruns it, there's no chance to get anybody.
Kenny, you're so right. He had a chance at second because Adams held up because the ball was in the air. And I think he's thinking 2 things at once.
Yep.
How do you like the double bunt in the 9th inning, Mike?
I wouldn't do that because then you lose Cano.
Also setting up, getting them in a scoring position. I don't know. I think Ichiro is one of your better hitters. I think you've got to go with your better hitters to drive in runs. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, Cano's not going to hit if Ichiro lays down a bunt. So it brings up Hafner in the same situation he was in before. Right.
So that scored an E1 and a fielder's choice. They don't give him a sack, which I don't understand. Ichiro does bunt, and it's grabbed by Wieters. Nobody was at third. That's the only reason it worked. Machado was charging, and no one was at third. So now the tying run's at third base. The winning run is at second, and Cano due up.
Now watch Machado. He sees the ball go. He's already on the move, and he can't reverse the engines to get back. Wieters knew it wasn't a good bunt, and there's nobody at third, so the runners can advance. So
Can the Yankees get the big hit here? They'll have to do it with Hafner, as they will now lose Cano as a batter.
Well, Michael, you called it. You knew he wasn't going to hit.
Now Showalter made the same move, and it'll be the exact same situation was in the 5th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Hafner then with a short fly ball to center didn't get a run in, and Wells with a foul ball to Davis didn't get it done. Let's see if they can get it done here in the bottom of the 9th.
Tell you what, you take that same situation, Kenny, that short fly ball, I think you have to take a chance now. You're in the 9th inning. You really have to try to push the issue to tie this game up.
Well, I bet you Joe Girardi wishes he had Gardner at third.
Get the dirt out of there.
What do you think this meeting's about here?
I think it's just a pump-up session for Jim Johnson, who's blown 5 saves this year.
You have to remind pitchers, especially sinker ball pitchers, that you're 1 pitch out of getting out of this thing. Let's put good sinkers and try to keep this in the infield.
Put positive thoughts in his mind.
I tell you what, if you're a hitter, you're telling yourself, you know what? I didn't get it done last time, and I'm due this time. And it's a mind game. You just feel like you're going to get it done.
I'm getting another chance.
Right.
They're playing a double play depth. Adams is at third. Gardner's at second. Wieters keeps it in front of him. The count 1-0 to Hafner. Has only faced him 4 times. Has 2 hits, and one of the hits a home run.
Tell you what, Kenny, if I'm Hafner, Johnson's hasn't gone to a breaking ball yet, so you have to be thinking straight sinkers, get a ball up. I don't think he's going to go to a breaking ball in a situation like this when he hadn't thrown it.
The 1-0. 2-0.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the ball down. You can see he does have a hard sinker. That's 95 miles an hour.
All right, let's go over the arms in the outfield. Adams has average speed, but they have 3 good arms in the outfield. All 3 can throw you out. McLeod, Jones, and Markakis. So it can't be a medium range fly ball. Game on the line here in the bottom of the 9th. In May, we go back. Johnson against Hafner, and he goes the other way and hits one out. Yankees would go on to win that game in 11 innings. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bottom of the ninth, 2 1-0s. No place to put Travis Hafner. Well, you asked this the other time, Paul. Do you green light him here?
Absolutely not.
No way. The tying runs on third base. A walk will move the winning run to third, and you get yourself a run batted in. If I'm Hafner, I take my time getting back in the box. I want that ball to feel like a shot put for Jim Johnson.
You know what you do? You get in and you kind of dig it and call timeout.
Yep.
Make him think about it just a little bit more.
That was a Bernie Williams move.
And he walked him. The Yankees have tied the game at 2.
6 blown saves for Jim Johnson. Now leads the league.
I'll tell you what, if you're Ivan Nova, you got to feel good about what you've done. You kept your team in this thing, and now you've got an opportunity to throw a complete game and get a win out of it with a big hit or a walk here.
Adams started it with the single. Then the misplay by Johnson, the bunt by Ichiro, the intentional walk to Cano. They bring the outfield in. They bring the infield in for Vernon Wells. Bases loaded, 1 out. Another ball. Johnson all over the place. He walks Hafner on 4 pitches, and now inside to Wells.
Love this situation with the outfielders because the rule of thumb is play where you know you can still throw him out on a sacrifice fly. So you kind of get an idea of what everybody feels about their arm strength.
Jim Johnson's lost the play here.
Yankees have won 4 in a row. They've tied the game here in the bottom of the 9th inning, looking to win it.
If I'm Wells, I'm going to make him throw a strike. I'd be willing to take one here.
Oh, absolutely.
The 2-0. There's a strike.
All right, now get something you can hit far enough into the outfield that their strong throwing arms are of no consequence.
Great speed at third. That's Gardner. He's the winning run.
I like this move by Wells. Call a timeout. You know, pitchers are the ones who want to dictate it back. Sometimes the hitter has to do it. You're going to throw at my speed when I'm ready.
2-2.
There's your curveball.
Boy, I tell you what, as a hitter, now the wheels are really turning because you saw your first breaking ball, and all of a sudden now you're in a strikeout count.
Ground ball through. Yankees win. So with the infield in, Vernon Wells, who has struggled so mightily, hits one through, a walk-off single, and the Yankees come back in the bottom of the 9th inning to give Nova a well-deserved victory, and the Yankees have won their 5th in a row.
Important game. I mean, Nova came up big, and you also broke that snap of losing to the Baltimore Orioles. Big, big win for the Yankees tonight.
I will tell you, there are blown saves, and then there are blown. This was really a blown save. An error by the pitcher, a couple of walks. I know that one was intentional. And then giving up the hit that wins the ball game. Vernon Wells out of the reach of Manny Machado.
All right, let's go downstairs. Meredith Marakovits is with Vernon Wells. Meredith.
Vernon, you came up in a huge spot there in the 9th inning. Take me through that at bat. What was your approach against Johnson?
Well, obviously early on in that bat, I got to make him throw strikes. Walked Travis on 4 straight pitches, and we had an opportunity in the 5th. Travis and I did. We didn't come through, but better late than never.
How much does that add to your patience at the plate when you see Hafner doesn't throw a strike to him? You look at the guys before, the way he had been struggling that ninth inning.
Well, Travis had a good approach, making those strikes. I tried to do the same. They threw a couple strikes to me, but we did enough to win.
Anyway, good win for you guys. Obviously had some trouble down in Baltimore. What does it feel to take one like this here at Yankee Stadium against an AL East rival?
It's good. Momentum's on our side, and this was a fun one. We needed one of these, especially at home. Fans were awesome tonight, stayed here with us, and glad we can get them a win.
And what do you think about the way Nova pitched?
Unbelievable. He was awesome, and that's what he's capable of doing. And it's good to see him get comfortable on the mound and flat out dominate tonight.
Vernon, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Michael, I'll send it back up to you.
Thank you, Meredith. She gets some of the Gatorade shower that was meant for Vernon Wells, and Wells with the game-winning hit. Yankees scored 2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. A blown save for Jim Johnson. A big win for the Yankees, and here's how he rounded first. A nice slap from Mick Kelleher, and the team greets him right at the bag. And thank you for the win, as the Yankees come back to win this one 3-2. We got a lot to talk about. Stay right here, and then the postgame with Bob and Jack and Meredith Barakowitz.